Hi everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Just Good Games. So about a month ago I started watching the absolutely amazing anime series Attack on Titan, and as I reached about the second series I decided to find out whether there were any video games created to tie in with the TV series or just set in the Attack on Titan universe, and to little surprise I found a couple of games that tie into the TV series and follow the story. I watched a few videos of the games and found them to be solid and the gameplay looked pretty cool. But I felt there could be so much more done with this IP. So fast forward about a week ago and I'm watching videos on the new Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter Rise on Nintendo Switch, and it hits me like a Titan's hand to my face. Why not make an Attack the Titan game in the style of Monster Hunter? This video will take you through how I think this game should be made. But before we go any further, I would just like you to do one thing, and that's hit that subscribe button, Scout. The core concept is it's a Monster Hunter style game set in the Attack on Titan universe. Obviously, the game would be set before the TV show and you would play as a scout, working your way up through from a new recruit to a senior team leader or even captain. We'll see how it goes. You will do this by taking on various missions and killing titans, obviously. It's a very simple but broad concept that allows for many of the gameplay mechanics that make the Monster Hunter games work, and also you're not bound and tied to the story of the manga or anime. Also, I will say this now, there will be no Titan transforming in this game, as I feel that could be almost an entirely different game on its own. Your scout will be a created character. You'll be able to customise them throughout the game. You'll have your own horse that you can name and customise also. The game would have three main areas. The scout's hideout, this would act as your hub world. Here you will be able to take on missions, craft upgrades, level up, manage your squad and just chat and interact with other scouts. Inside the city walls, this is where you'll be able to do some side missions and possibly some of the main missions. These would mainly be to recruit a new scout to your squad, build loyalty with a scout already in your squad, to get items from shops and to do favours for other parts of the military, like keeping the peace. I know it's not normally what a scout would do, but you could easily explain it by saying you're helping out a mate in another division with these help out inside the wall missions. The third and final area is beyond the wall. This is where the majority of the main missions will happen, and where you will hunt titans in a very similar way to how you would hunt monsters in a Monster Hunter game. But more on that later. I would also have some characters from the TV show in there, giving you missions and side missions to carry out, like Captain Levi or Hanji. The story is one of the areas that I actually haven't 100% nailed down, as in the Monster Hunter games, the story is almost of a secondary nature and is just used as a device to drive you forward and to allow you to hunt monsters and to build to big boss battles. This would probably be the case for this game, and the main narrative of this game really is your character's journey from recruit to senior team leader or captain, and the obstacles that are put in your way while doing that. You could throw in a story about the mystery of the Titans and some sort of narrative about that, but it would probably only end up being about stuff we've already found out in the TV series, so it probably wouldn't be too necessary. Now, I've not played any of the existing Attack on Titan games, so if my control scheme / gameplay setup is the same as any of those games, then this is just really a happy coincidence. So, the main part of the gameplay that I feel really had to be nailed down is how you control your character in combat while using your ODM gear, and also how you traverse the world with it. This part would control very much like the modern Spider-Man games, and more specifically his swinging mechanic. The swinging and world traversal is just so fluid and easy to master in the PlayStation 4/5 Spider-Man games, but in all honesty I would pretty much just rip that off for this, but I would take it possibly a step further. In the Spider-Man games, you can only use one trigger, the R2 trigger. Since the ODM gear has a left and right side, I would use both the triggers, L2 and R2, and alternate between them to fly in like different directions, left and right. Imagine how you could incorporate obviously the adaptive triggers on the PlayStation 5 into this also. I would then use the L1 and R1 triggers to swing your swords with a lock-on mechanic very similar to Gravity Rush. And if you haven't played the Gravity Rush games, 1 or 2, after finishing watching this video, go out and play them. They're bloody awesome. You could hold the triggers down for stronger attacks, and the face buttons could be used for dodging, tricks, special moves and other things like this. So that's sort of the ODM traversal and combat sorted. I think that's a good system there. The ground combat and traversal on the ground would work like most other third-person action games. I'm thinking it would have very similar controls to Horizon Zero Dawn. As I mentioned earlier, you would have a horse, and well, we know how horse gameplay is now. We know how good horse gameplay has got, and controls for that are pretty much nailed down. So I would just nab some horse controls and physics from Red Dead Redemption 2 or the Assassin's Creed games, and there you go, you have some horse gameplay. Another facet of this game would be your squad and your squad management. You will not be going out on your own fighting titans. It doesn't happen on the TV show really, so it won't happen in this game. You'll have a squad of 4 other scouts, or maybe even you would be the 4th scout. We'll decide that later. To start with, you'll be placed in a squad, but as the game progresses, you will get your own squad and recruit, upgrade and do loyalty missions to improve your squad and your squad stats. Your squad will also be customizable. Squad members will have specific skills and tactics that you can use while taking on titans. This will also lead into the multiplayer element of the game, but once again we will talk about that later. So as I said earlier, the main bulk of your missions will be hunting and scouting titans beyond the wall. It does what it says on the tin. These would play out like hunting a monster in the Monster Hunter games, as I said earlier. You would have a time limit and a supply limit of gas for your ODM gear. When either of these run out, the mission is over. And I would have little stations where you could maybe resupply your gas as well, jotted round the map. When the mission starts, you will get on your horse and use your horse to get to the area where you need to be. So there'll be like a set area where the titan you're hunting is, and instead of blasting over there and using gas, you get in your squad, you get on your horses, and you would ride for Rohan, for Ruin and all that. Once you get close enough, it would be time to use your ODM gear to scout and to take down the titans. As I said earlier, repeating myself a bit there, but there you go. You will encounter all types of titans from the pure and abnormal groups. Maybe you encounter one of the 9 at some point, but I don't really want to create plot holes and interfere with the TV series too much. I'm sure another special group of titans could be added to serve as the bosses, with possibly the ultimate narrative actually being you taking them all out, so that's why you don't see them in the TV show. To be honest, part of me was also thinking of suggesting this game be a bit more like Shadow of Colossus, but the more I thought about it, the more I just think that wouldn't work as well as a Monster Hunter style game. But if you think that it would be more suited Shadow of the Colossus style, just going out there and taking down like a number of titans, then let me know in the comments below. You obviously will also partake in Titan Study, Human Expansion and Outside Exploration as missions also. Side missions inside the wall will be helping out your fellow scouts and doing tasks to recruit them to your squad and also to build loyalty, as I've said 2 times already in this video. There will be some collectibles to find and supplies to gather. I'm even thinking about doing like a base hideout upgrade system that opens up other missions or is a mission type within itself. All of this would feed into the upgrade system to allow you to upgrade your character, gear, horse, base and squad mates. This would be a pretty robust upgrade system. We're almost talking full RPG here. And finally we come to the multiplayer. One of the best features of the Monster Hunter games is the multiplayer and getting a group together and hunting a monster, and also how you can send a smoke signal for help, which will bring players online into your session. This plays perfectly well into the Attack on Titan universe, as smoke signals are how squads of scouts interact. So here's how it works. When you take up a mission outside the wall, you can pick if you want to use your squad which you've been building offline, or go online and bring in some other players for obviously an online session. If you pick the offline option and feel like you need help, then all you have to do is send off a smoke signal and it allows players to join and take the place of your online squad. There will also be raids and missions designed specifically for online multiplayer, obviously outside of the main narrative. I would also add things like weekly and daily challenges. You can also throw in some competitive multiplayer in there, like ODM races, who can kill the most titans, capture the flag, like death matches, you know, all the modes. And they probably would throw in a battle royale mode, as you know, everything has that nowadays. So this is my idea for an Attack on Titan game done in a Monster Hunter style. There's obviously more to it than that if they were to properly make a game, but what I've said is just the basic ideas which I think are cool. Let me know what you think in the comments below and how this can be improved upon or how you would change it. So thank you for watching the video. Now all I need you to do is hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and on Twitter. I think the Twitter is Just Good Games 1, Instagram is Just Good Games with some underscores between the words, and watch the streams on Twitch. Just Good Games 18. Thanks again, and you have been watching Just Good Games.